I looked at it from a standpoint, well, I can either go to college and get a degree, a master's in real estate development, or I can follow somebody who's actually doing the work that I want to be doing, like yourself, and go down that road. The kind of mistakes you can make in real estate, multi-million-dollar mistakes. I don't want to afford to have that problem. I want to learn by somebody who's doing it, who has done it, and has my back, so that when I exercise these underwriting skills or what have you, someone can look at my shoulder and say, John, you're doing this wrong or that wrong. I want to have that confidence, and that's where we are. But then shortly thereafter, there was a shortage of people, of staff, because a lot of people had retired and exited the workforce. And suddenly salaries started increasing. So then I started getting offers to come back and work for different companies and work back for my previous employer. But by that time, my wife and I, she's a career coach. She took me through a vision exercise and all this other, work to figure out, where my passions lie. Because having lost that job due to COVID left a bitter pill, and just a bitter pill to swallow. And I was always been an avid student of real estate. I knew that there was value there, but I always was stuck with a comfortable job, steady income, financial security. But then I realized with COVID, there's no financial security. When you work for somebody else, you're at their mercy. And unfortunately, COVID opened my eyes to that. And having already been through, my own startup in business, I was comfortable leaving and not returning to the workplace and working for somebody else. But my wife and I, she hit the nail on the head and realized that, my passion through our conversations lie in real estate, all things real estate. And so she asked me, like, what am I missing? Why haven't I done it earlier? And the reason was, well, I don't know how it functions. I don't know how the mechanics of real estate work. People come to me as an architect with budgets, and I spend their money, and I work toward their budget. I don't create their budget. I don't ask where the budgets come from. But if I'm going to be working on the other side of the table, I need to figure that stuff out. So I started looking for people in this space who can teach me that type of information. And so I think I found you in October of 2020, and read your book, followed you on YouTube, read everything you sent me, as well as several others. And my wife and I talked about it, like, I think I want to get educated on this work through somebody who's doing it, who has done it, doing it, and I really appreciate the quality of information you put out. And so I decided, well, I'm gonna get some coaching. And I'm not going to go back to my W-2 job. I'm going to do this full time. And, we're fine. We have a house and, we've got some savings and what have you. But, now's the time to do this, because COVID put us in a special place to, put a laser focus on our future. And I saw the future as real estate. So did she. And followed your lead and took your mentorship program. And here I am a couple years later, still chasing the deals.
Yeah, I want to get into that, but right now, like, you're full time.
Yeah.
You derive your income from real estate. What is that like? Like, compare that to, when you had a steady job. Like, what is your life? How's your life the same or the difference than before?
Well, a lot of the value that comes from chasing real estate is having control of my time. Work for somebody else, I'm on a 9-to-5 schedule, but architecture being such a draw on your time, it's more like 9 to 7. And the extra amount of effort and work putting into those projects didn't equate to any type of financial freedom. I was still working check by check, paycheck by paycheck. And I wanted to invest in something more long-term. I'm fine with delayed gratification. I'm happy working on projects that'll take 3 to 5 years to get a return on my investment. So I was teaching. I still teach part-time, but nowadays I'm more about educating myself, spending time with my family. Watching my kids grow. I've got a 5-year-old now and a 1.5-year-old. And a 15-year-old, and it's nice to see them grow up. while working towards something that'll going to benefit us all through this real estate. And so that's why I spend my days. I chase deals. I work on occasion when I have to make ends meet. But we're focused on this, and we're going to continue doing this into the future, because I see the future in front of me, and it's just about putting the effort in and putting the time into it.
What did you and your wife, it sounds like you obviously, she helped you create clarity around real estate, but at the end of the day, what was your collective why? When you guys agreed that, it was good for John to get his, education in real estate and apartments, like, how did you sell yourselves on this? Like, what was behind that?
Well, I think we just simply took our careers and extrapolated them out into the future. And figured out that, going on the traditional track of, investment through 401ks or stock market or what have you, didn't sit well with either one of us. I thought there was I looked at real estate as the vehicle that most wealthy Americans have gone through to reach their financial freedom. I knew it wasn't going to be working for somebody else. I knew that very quickly. And she knew that I was passionate about this work. I love architecture, but I love buildings. And so she knew that if John had the bandwidth to focus on this 100% of his time, we would all be well off financially. We wouldn't have to worry, because, once I focus on any one thing, I'm very tenacious and relentless. And she knew that, I knew that. And she also realized my passion. And unfortunately, I set the passion aside for so long, because I was, family, my job, I was being pulled in multiple directions. And now I feel like I found my place. Like, all the stars have aligned. Everything that I created throughout my career, everything that I've learned throughout my career, led me to this place. And we all feel very confident that this is going to be the way we want to move forward. So we have no doubts.
So you read some books, podcasts, you knew that apartment's the way to go. It sounds like your first step was to get your education. And so you joined our mentoring program. Yeah. Why did you think that was a good step? Because a lot of people says, look, I don't need a mentor. I'm going to figure it out my own, or I'm going to find someone at a local meetup. And why did you decide to invest in yourself in that way?
Well, speed. Everything that's out there that, that your group produces or other groups produce. I mean, there's a lot of content out there in the world. You can find this information on YouTube. You can download all kinds of PDFs off the internet. Sure, you can go down you can take the slow boat to China and learn all this information. But I'm both my wife and I are proponents of self-education and improving oneself. And so I looked at it from a standpoint, well, I can either go to college and get a degree, a master's in real estate development, or I can follow somebody who's actually doing the work that I want to be doing, like yourself, and go down that road. And I don't have time. I'm effectively doing this full time. I don't have time to spend a year or two putting all the pieces together, meeting the right people, when I can just pay somebody and get a coach, which, we all feel very strongly about coaching. Get a coach and have them help me through this journey. Because, the kind of mistakes you can make in real estate have lots of zeros behind them, multi-million-dollar mistakes. I don't want to afford to have that problem. I want to learn by somebody who's doing it, who has done it, and has my back, so that when I exercise these underwriting skills or what have you, someone can look over my shoulder and say, John, you're doing this wrong or that wrong. I want to have that confidence, and that's where we are.